Spiritual culture has been a closely intertwined part of the lives of Vietnamese people for generations. According to the White Book on Religions of Vietnam, only approximately 27% of Vietnamese people follow religions, meaning 26.5 million in total of 97 million citizens. However, spiritual culture has developed strongly throughout the history of Vietnam. Folk beliefs were formed when the ancients set forth spiritual forces fitting real-life scenarios to worship, and the Vietnamese have a spiritual culture closely associated with daily lives, such as nature worship, ancestor worship, Buddha worship, and many other beliefs related to different religions. Worshipping beliefs exist everywhere, in every corner of this old but fascinating city. Vietnamese worship to show gratitude to their ancestors and the gods that help and support them, or to invite their ancestors to celebrate with them on special occasions. Worship regularly takes place at home, temples, and pagodas, and if you visit Hanoi on occasions, such as the first of the lunar month, the full moon of the lunar month, or the Vietnamese Lunar New Year, follow locals to the pagodas and temples, especially around the ancient town, Hon King Lake area, the cultural and religious center of Hanoi capital, with a vast number of temples and pagodas, as well as cultural and spiritual relics concentrated here. The sacred quiet space, with fragrant incense smoke, is always an image that makes a deep impression on tourists when they visit, with the most commonly encountered activity being burning incense and arranging offering trays for the altars. When going to pagodas and producing rituals, there is a rule all Vietnamese follow. Use odd numbers for everything. What does that mean? That is, when burning incense, prayers only lit odd numbers of incense sticks, not even numbers, since it is believed that odd numbers represent the living world, while even numbers represent the world of the deaths. Different numbers of incense sticks also have different meanings. 1 incense stick for peace and sincerity. 3 incense sticks represent worship and are also used by the majority, since 3 is a highly sacred number in Vietnamese beliefs. 5 incense sticks is the symbol for the 5 elements. Lighting 7 or 9 incense sticks when the person wants to pray for their individual needs. Similar to burning incense, when preparing an offering tray, everything is also arranged in odd numbers, and only fruits, sweets, and vegetarian foods are allowed, along with fresh flowers, which are also in odd numbers. Lastly, when entering such sacred places, do not forget to dress politely and formally. Like pagodas, temples are also places for Vietnamese to practice spiritual activities. However, unlike pagodas, which are places of worshiping Buddha, temples are places where Vietnamese worship and pay their respects to real figures, their ancestors, most of whom are pioneers with great merits in the history of the country, or fictional characters associated with historical legends. This is Bac Ma Temple, one of Hanoi's oldest temples dating back over 1,200 years. Located in a modest space hidden among the winding old streets, Bac Ma Temple is one of Hanoi's foremost important temples, situated on 4 sides of the ancient Thang Long Citadel, and worshipping the 4 gods, who help protect the old kingdom and the peace of its people. One of the 4 gods worshipped at Bac Ma Temple is Long Do, also known as Bac Ma Dai Vong, the original god of ancient Hanoi, the god that has stood side by side and blessed many generations of Vietnamese descendants to build and protect the country, as they have been doing. Like pagodas, people often come to Bac Ma Temple on the first and the full moon of the lunar month, or the Vietnamese Lunar New Year, to pray for peace and happiness, or on Bac Ma Temple festival days to express gratitude to this important deity, implementing the principle of remembering the source when drinking water. Doing rituals to inform ancestors does not only happen during special occasions, but also before important life decisions. For example, before exams or competitions, students and their families often go to Nok Sun Temple, a highly symbolic temple located in the middle of Hon King Lake, the heart of Hanoi, one of religious destinations famous for blessings related to study, exams, and competitions, besides Quoc Tu Giam. Nok Sun Temple is probably the first destination tourists from inside and outside of Vietnam to know when coming to Hanoi. This sacred place worships Han Dao Dai Vong Tran Quoc Tuan, Vietnamese royal prince, statesman, and military commander of Dai Viet military forces during the Tran dynasty, a significant national hero, and Van Suan De Quan, a god representing knowledge. Standing in front of the first gate to the Hook Bridge, you will see a stone brush statue called Brush Tower, a symbol of literature. Brush Tower is built on a small rocky mountain, 5 stories high, engraved with the Chinese characters, right on the blue sky, on top of which is an upside-down brush nib. Arriving at the second gate before entering the Hook Bridge, looking up at the gate's roof, you will see a glimpse of a giant stone ink slab called Ink Slab Monument. Ink Slab Monument and Brush Tower are powerful symbols of knowledge and literature, proving the power of Nok Sun Temple and Van Suan De Quan, bringing strong faith to the students who come here to pray for good luck before exams. Every family wants their children to get good results through tough exams, where they must compete with other big dreamers, don't they? Some more information for the curious ones. Nok Sun Temple, in combination with Hon King Lake, is associated with the legend of King La Loi returning the sword to the turtle god after the god lent him the sword to defeat the invaders. The lake also used to house 2 giant hundreds-year-old turtles, the last of which died in 2016, and both are on display at this temple. The existence of these 2 turtles reminds people of the legend of the turtle god, as well as a reassurance that the gods will always watch over and protect this place. It may take countless books to tell all the stories about the spiritual culture of Vietnam, but the most essential core of Hanoi's spiritual culture has been summed up in this video. Hopefully, this will be a guide to help you get the first inspiration in discovering spiritual and cultural beauty of this amazing land.